You know what you're listening to?
Next question.
It's Dan Patrick On Demand. Thank you.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Here he is, joined by the 4 Danettes. It's Dan Patrick.
Welcome to the program. It's hour 1 on this Thursday. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. Congrats to the Astros as they win their first World Series title. George Springer, your MVP. Leiter from the Major League Baseball Network in a couple of minutes from now before he flies back home from Los Angeles. Tonight, Bills, Jets. Cavaliers now 3-5. We'll discuss all of those items. 877-3DP Show. Email address, dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP Show. Say good morning to our radio and TV partners around the country. Congrats to the Astros. It's a shame the postseason had to come to an end. Astros and Dodgers gave us one of the great World Series of all time. Even if Game 7 wasn't quite what we had hoped for, it was still an unbelievable World Series. And you get the feeling we'll look back on this World Series 10, 15, 20 years from now, and you'll look at how great it was, how we had just about every kind of game you could think of, from a slugfest, extra innings, to a pitching performance in Game 1. We'll also look back on potential Hall of Famers, Altuve, Correa. Springer's a great player. Seager, Bellinger. You got Kershaw and Verlander going to the Hall of Fame. Both of these teams should be contenders for the foreseeable future. In fact, Vegas has the Dodgers as the favorites already for next year. And I don't think you can come away from this feeling like you're cheated. Comebacks, controversy, and certainly more than enough home runs. Houston earned the title. They were the better team. And several young teams in baseball will have them in their sights. Astros, best of the bunch, and they go back to a city that needed a lift. And you certainly got that. The city's residents can feel great pride in their world champion, Houston Astros. McLovin, I have a poll question for you. As I mentioned, Leiter, who won 3 World Series titles, will join us coming up on loan from the Major League Baseball Network. Poll options, McLovin. Are we going to go baseball, or are you going to go another sport?
Well, we can do baseball. Now that the Astros broke their title drought, we could ask, and we've asked before, who do you want to see break their drought? And the longest active streaks are the Cleveland Indians, Arizona Cardinals, Sacramento Kings, and Detroit Lions. So we could say, who's next now the Astros have broken through? All right.
Dan Patrick Show, by the way, brought to you by True Car. Find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for. And on average, save over $3,000 off MSRP. Whether you're looking for a new or used car, visit True Car to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. We make way for Leiter, the Major League Baseball Network, kind enough to join us before he takes a flight back home. The Astros won the World Series because why, Al?
That's a good question. I'm going to say that the 3 true outcomes of baseball really was very evident during this World Series, DP. I mean, when they broke the home run record, you boatload of strikeouts. There were only 4 stolen bases throughout the entire World Series. And I think, now, this is no knock on Dave Roberts, but we're in a absolute sabermetric world of baseball. And I think that it's the decisions for each respective manager to pull starters, I think ultimately burnt out guys. You can't lay on and lean on the same 2 or 3 guys, even though this is becoming a reliever-centric world of baseball as we're watching this evolve. Managers can't wait to pull starters, to get to a middle reliever, to start the matchups, and eventually when you get to games 5, 6, and 7, and you're leaning on a guy like a Brendan Morrow who pitched every game except Game 4 of the LCS and postseason, yeah, you bet you're going to be tired. And I think you saw that. And ultimately, in the end, believe it or not, because the Dodgers actually had the better bullpen, certainly with Kenley Jansen anchoring down, a guy like Brad Peacock and Charlie Morton were the difference in this World Series.
Were the Dodgers outmanaged, or did the Dodgers overmanage?
I would say, I love Dave Roberts. I'm not going to say outmanaged. I think maybe there was some overmanaging. When you're taking guys out and they give up their first hit that happens to be a home run in the 6th inning, and then you say that you were trying to extend him, and if he didn't have a no-hitter a la Alex Wood in his start, I would have taken him out after 5 innings. It just, for me, DP, that blows my mind. As a starting pitcher much of my career, and a guy like Bobby Valentine, who kept me in for 143 pitches in the 9th inning in the 2000 World Series when I was with the Mets against the Yankees. Ultimately, we were losing. And we're talking about starters that are being taken out with 60, 70, 80 pitches, and they only gave up 1 run. I don't understand it. And then, therefore, we're watching a lot of middle reliever guy matchup stuff to eventually get to your setup guy closer. So I think there were a couple starts, and we saw the reaction of Rich Hill in a couple of his starts getting pulled out early, and Alex Wood and others. But it wasn't only, Dave Roberts. It's just the mindset of where the analytics department of respective front offices are having influence on baseball games.
I know that we're a results-based sports society, so we look at Kershaw and say, well, they should have started Kershaw. I'm not sure where you stand on it. I'll get your opinion. I'll give you mine. But Darvish got roughed up again. Kershaw looked good. Should they have started him, Kershaw, from the outset?
No, listen. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, right? So Kershaw, not having his first start was terrific, 11 strikeouts and just absolute domination in Game 1. Not so much in the Game 5. So I really thought Darvish, after his clunker in Houston, that he was going to be better than the inning and 2/3 that he did in Houston.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I mean, right from Jump Street, gave up the couple runs, and then the big blow by George Springer, and all of a sudden you're down 5-0. And in a World Series game, that's a huge hole. In hindsight, let Kershaw start. Did Dave Roberts think he could get 4 solid? And I can't believe I'm saying this. 4 innings to me would be an absolute disappointment if I started and pitched 4 innings of any game. But for Darvish to not get through 2, quick hook. But when you give up a 2-run jack and now you're down by 5, that was too much for the Dodgers to overcome.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous to all of a sudden now knowing what Kershaw did and then say, well, he should have started. Darvish is an all-star. This is why you acquired him. This is why the Astros acquired Verlander, for these moments. He didn't step up in either start, but I can't sit here and go, yep, they should have had Kershaw in there, because if Kershaw starts Game 7, gets blown up, then people say, why would you start him? Darvish was on full rest there, and so I'm not buying into that. I did want to ask you this, though, the tipping of the pitches, at least the report that Darvish was tipping his pitches. Did you notice anything with Darvish?
This is where I always thought, now every pitcher's insecure to begin with, and I always thought everybody was stealing signs and everything. Oh, no, I did. I had multiple signs with nobody on base. But when you get a pitch, when you make a good pitch, meaning let's say your secondary slider or curveball, and it's off the plate, and you see a guy after 2 fastballs inside, and he's not fooled. He's not out in front on his front foot. He's balanced, and he's taken it, and he's seen all the way. Those are indicators that you say, wait a minute. I mean, that was a 2-1 slider, slightly off the plate, 3, 4, 5 inches, and you took it like nothing. So that would be my red flag. I didn't know. I guess I wasn't watching as closely up until I read, I guess, the same stories that you were reading. Mm-hmm. But something was up because, listen, he's not a bad pitcher. You mentioned the All-Star, and they brought him over to solidify behind Kershaw, and he didn't do it.
Is Verlander a Hall of Famer?
I'm going to say yes, even though his total body of work's not there yet. He's 188 wins. He's got the Cy, got the MVP. I really thought, DP, that his start, if he had pitched that Jack Morris start, in Game 6, I'm thinking, or a Randy Johnson kind of start. I would say Justin Verlander will be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's a lock solid guy right now, but he's been one of the best pitchers in the last 10 years.
Are there Astro fans at the airport?
There is, and they're looking a little hungover, DP. I mean, they're a little.
Hey, it's a happy.
A lot of orange.
It's a happy hangover, Al.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good hangover.
You know that feeling. You know that feeling a couple times.
Oh, just a couple, only twice.
Yeah. Hey, safe travels back. Always great to talk to you. Enjoy the off season. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome, DP.
That's Al Leiter, Major League Baseball Network, former Major League pitcher. Won a couple of World Series titles, pitched for Toronto and the Marlins. People coming out now and saying, you should have started Clayton Kershaw. I understand how great he is, but say it before the game, not after the game. I assumed Darvish was going to be better. He had to be better than his previous start, but before the first inning, I wouldn't have started Clayton Kershaw. I wouldn't. Because he threw a lot of pitches in that when he got roughed up. And now you're going to bring him back on short rest, and he hasn't pitched well recently. He pitched great in game 1. There's no indication that he's just going to come back and be lights out on short rest. Keep this in mind. He came in with very little pressure on him. It's 5-0. And he pitched like there was very little pressure on him. And he pitched great. But we're looking at the end result. If Darvish got you through all they were asking was 4 innings from Darvish. That's all they needed. Then you get Kershaw to come in. Then you turn it over to your bullpen, and you have a chance. That was the game plan. But Darvish, these are 2 historical games where he failed miserably on a big stage. And this is why you brought him in. Remember when Kershaw was with us a week ago? And he talked about Darvish's stuff because I said, would you give him any advice? And he goes, no, not at all. He's got great stuff. I'd tell him to keep throwing what you're throwing. John Smoltz, by the way, was spectacular. I hope you appreciate how good that kind of analysis is without talking down to you. It's all it is bringing you in, or he's joining you in the conversation to say, hey, by the way, look at how Darvish is releasing his breaking ball. Just his arm slot. He can't continue to do that. Little small things that are so enjoyable to listen to. I don't know if he won the Sports Emmy in the World Series, but he should have. And that's the highest praise I can give him because he's in the same category as Chris Collinsworth, who wins it every single year. But John Smoltz, as great as he was as a postseason pitcher, surpassed himself with his analysis last night. We'll take a break. We'll get a poll question, phone calls. The man who predicted the Astros would be in this position 3.5 years ago. He'll join us coming up next hour. It's 18 after the hour. Dan Patrick Show.
All right, we've had some issues in the man cave lately. Some guys aren't pulling their weight. Dan, pretty much gets them in line, but sometimes you lose someone and you got to hire. If you're hiring, do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? You got to go to ZipRecruiter. With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100+ job sites with just one click. Then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your job better than anyone else. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. In fact, over 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/DanPatrick. That's ZipRecruiter.com/DanPatrick. One more time to try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/DanPatrick.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Congrats to Fritzy. Won the bet. Gets to wear sweatpants for the next month. Underwear optional. Although he's got his sweatpants on today. Got his Astros jersey that Nolan Ryan's son, Reed Ryan, gave to him. He's got his hat on. All excited. His Astros. Any drama, any tension last night as you're watching the game?
Just a lot of excitement when they scored 2 and then 3 and went up 5-0 after 2. We got a little nervous when McCullers was hitting every other batter and Turner gets hit twice. 4 guys getting hit for some kind of World Series record, most hit batsmen, but they held it together.
You know what that told me, though, is these guys were still having a hard time getting... McCullers has one of the best breaking balls in baseball, and he was losing control of it. He was not getting any bite on it, and that's why he hit 4 guys. Darvish, I think the release point, according to John Smoltz, was affecting his breaking ball. He's got a great breaking ball. I still think that was an issue in this World Series for these guys, that you weren't getting that bite on that breaking ball. And McCullers is a guy who has as good a stuff, certainly a breaking ball, as you'll find in Major League Baseball. Carlos Correa, the great shortstop, got engaged after the World Series. What have I told you guys about when you get engaged? Now, you guys are all married now, but I'll say this to younger members of this audience. Do it on a day that's not attached to anything special, because you don't want to double up. You don't want to get engaged on Christmas. You want to do it on your own day. So Correa, now, if they lost, is he still getting engaged? And the guy who had to carry the ring around with him.
That's a tough gig.
Yeah, because all you can do is screw up. Imagine that guy. He's going to hold on to that ring and then waiting, and you got to make sure you don't lose it. And you're checking your pocket the whole time, and then all of a sudden they win, and then Correa's going, "Where's the ring? Where's the ring?" And it'd be like, okay, I got it. You can't get engaged after winning the World Series. Yes, Paul. Yes, Paul.
I am going to kind of disagree, because Carlos Correa's fiance now is thinking to herself, on his greatest day as an athlete, the greatest moment of his career that he worked his whole life for, he's also thinking of me. And that is money in the bank for him with his fiance.
Yeah. Let's say, I always look at worst case scenario. Let's say it goes south. Then every time somebody brings up the World Series and the anniversary of you winning the World Series, he might be thinking about it. He got engaged.
What if she shook him off a couple times? Like
that would have been nice.
A couple shake-offs?
Yes. He'd be like, will you? No.
Try it again.
No, I would go like tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, see, I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with you either, but right at the end of everything that I've been working for my whole life, and my greatest achievement so far in baseball, I've reached the pinnacle of baseball. This is where I've been working to get to. At the end of the day, all I could think about was marrying you. That's kind of a baller move.
You got to have your own special day.
And I've actually seen some criticism of him, like, "Hey, way to make a great team achievement about yourself, guy." And you're like,
"Oh, I didn't read into that deeply. I was just saying, have your own day for an engagement. If you wanted to do it and it's attached to the Astros, do it when you're on the victory parade float.
That's a once in a lifetime chance.
All right.
Once in a.
I know. I just saying, make it your own day, a special day when you get engaged. It can be a Tuesday in November. Yes, Paul.
The downside is Mrs. Correa becomes the ultimate engagement topper. Bunch of women are sitting around chatting, and how did you get engaged? Oh, you didn't see it? It was on national TV in front of millions after my husband won the World Series. What did you get engaged in an Italian restaurant down the street?
Remember the Boise State running back?
Ian Johnson.
Yeah, he got engaged at the Fiesta Bowl.
After beating Oklahoma.
Are they still married?
I don't want to taint that story.
Well, no, we should at least, I just look at it because you do it right there on national TV, and then, when somebody brings up the Fiesta Bowl.
How about this? If you get engaged on national TV, you should also get divorced on national TV. Wow. You got to pay off the other side of that.
Savage.
Wow.
It would be great to have some type of statistic on public engagements, like when you do the scoreboard. How many of those work out? And
you
how
can't
many
do that either. You can't do the scoreboard engagement either. Yes, McLovin.
How about as a poll option, do you believe in love? Because you obviously don't based on...
No, I believe in love, but I believe in your own day for love.
That's a no.
And you can have private love. Does everything have to be public? Did anybody do it publicly? Yeah, Fritzy.
I did because I kind of had to at the airport at baggage claim at JFK because we made plans.
By the way, there's no more romantic place in the world than the baggage claim at JFK. I've been there. It screams
How
romance.
depressing is that?
I was on a red eye from L.A., landed like 6 in the morning. I had
by the Nathan's hot dog stand.
We had a flight to Miami, assuming she was going to say yes. I had tickets for like an 8:30 a.m. flight to go to Miami, so I had to do it right then and there. Her parents brought, luggage and stuff. One of her parents had to drive her car back, so she didn't know that we were heading right to Miami from the airport. And people were watching, but at 6 in the morning, it wasn't a big crowd on her.
Yeah,
you go one knee on that floor. It's a little dirty.
Yeah, I did do the one knee thing. All right. And it definitely was not a romantic spot, but it had to be for us to catch the celebration flight to South Beach.
Yeah, I just would have enjoyed it with my team and made it about my team, and you won the World Series. And I know you can spin it and say that you're thinking of her, but I thought have your own special day. That's all. Spread it around. Like, you don't want your birthday on Christmas. Not that you can choose that. Yes, Paul.
I called an audible. I was going to get engaged. It was the day my wife had graduated and gotten her master's. And I was all ready. The day wasn't going well, not because of me. There were some people had showed up late, and there was a bad storm, and there was some drama in the room. And I was like, I'm going to put this back in my pocket and wait for another day.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird one. But to get all hyped up, it was like, a pitcher getting warmed up. I was like in the middle of reliever getting warmed up in the bullpen. They don't call me in. And I had to tap out. Did it a couple weeks later.
877-3DP Show. Do we have a poll question, McLovin?
Well, I did have an option, Carlos Correa, dude or dude. But we have another topic about now that the Astros broke their 55-year drought, who do you want to see win a title next? And the longest droughts are the Indians. I mean, you got to want to see the Indians win. The Detroit Lions, who are the Indians of the NFL. My Philadelphia Eagles, that shouldn't last long. The Vikings are at 56. Did you realize that?
Yeah, they haven't won.
Yeah.
They went to 4 Super Bowls.
But I don't think of them as a hard luck team. The Chargers, the Bills, the Maple Leafs, the Falcons, and the Cleveland Browns are up there too. I feel like the Indians or the Browns.
But I think, I don't know. It feels like we're past the Indians with we're rooting for them because they had their opportunities. They've had their opportunities a couple of times. They're good. Like the Browns are pathetic. The Lions would be a great story. That would be a better story than the Indians winning because you had the Cavaliers winning. And it used to be the Cleveland Browns were the best team in football in the 60s. Did you see where we still don't know exactly what happened with this trade that went south for the Browns? Because there was a report by Andrew Brandt. Is he at the mothership?
Andrew does a bunch of things. TheMMQB.com.
Okay.
Too. I don't know if this is a report, more as his opinion.
Well, he says he still finds the narrative that the Browns bungled the trade process curious. They've done multiple trades. They know the drill since someone killed the deal. Yeah, here's what happened. Hugh Jackson wanted A.J. McCarron. And then all of a sudden, management got involved in it. And then management said, no, they didn't want A.J. McCarron. They made the right decision. But in the process, they can't even do it, correctly. Like it feels like they made a mistake. They bungled a trade here. But you don't want to give up a second and third for A.J. A.J. McCarron's not a franchise quarterback. Can he play in the NFL? Absolutely. Is he the guy that you say, this is why we passed on every one of these guys? Because we could get A.J. McCarron. Doesn't it feel like you could get A.J. McCarron whenever you want to? Jimmy Garoppolo made more sense. And they gave a half-hearted offer to the Patriots for Garoppolo. Don't you think a 2 and a 3 would have gotten it done? If a 2 got it done from San Francisco and you're the Browns and you're worse than San Francisco? So I think Hugh Jackson wanted him. He likes him. He worked with him in Cincinnati. And then management came in and big-footed and said, no, we're not going to make that move. Yeah, Paul.
But with A.J. McCarron, there's as much proof with him as there is with Jimmy Garoppolo. 3 games, real good stats in those 3-4 games.
Well, okay, who would you rather have if you're the Cleveland Browns to build around?
Neither. I would go higher end and take the best quarterback available next year.
No, I think that you've heard GMs now, they've spoken about the draft class next year. And in my opinion, the Browns going after A.J. McCarron, and they're going to be up there in the top 3. The Niners going to be in the top 3. And what'd they do? They made a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think they're telling you about this quarterbacking class coming up. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get to your phone calls, 877-3DP Show. Back after this.
Hey, it's Jay Moore, and it is time, finally, for America's Lakers podcast. That's right, I'm going to be hosting America's Lakers podcast. My man Aaron Larsoul, an analytical genius, he's going to bring to the table what I can't every Wednesday. America's Lakers podcast exclusively at podcastone.com, the podcastone.com app, which I highly recommend. You can rate and review this podcast on all Apple products. And guess what we're not going to do? We're not going to bathe in the gossip and the gratuitous negativity that's been swallowing Los Angeles whole lately. Who did what? Who snitched? Who said what? How about truth? How about facts? How about statistics? How about rotations? What's Luke Walton thinking? Who's underperforming? Who's overachieving? Who's rewarded? Who's coming? Who's going? And what are we going to do with all that delightful, delicious cap space America's Lakers Podcast with me, Jay Moore, and my man, my brother, Aaron Lars Sewell, every Wednesday, podcast1.com.
Support for the Dan Patrick Show comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. They understand that a home plays a big role in your life and family. That's why they created Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. It's simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, refinance, whatever you want to do, they've got all the options. With Rocket Mortgage, you get transparent online processes that give you confidence to make informed decisions. It's convenient. Our trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button. In addition, to get real mortgage approval in minutes, find out all your options, 30 or 15, floating arms, all those big words. You can even adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time to make sure you're getting the right solution for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Dan. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. rocketmortgage.com/Dan.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
We'll get to your phone calls coming up. Got a stat of the day to bring you. How do you feel if you're a Dodger fan? Yes, you lost the World Series. Was it a great season? Usually what happens, if I tell somebody at the beginning of the year, your team's going to go to the World Series, but you're not sure if you're going to win or lose, you sign up for that. Your team's going to go to the Super Bowl. You're not sure if you're going to win or lose. Would you sign up for that? Even if I said you're going to go to the World Series or Super Bowl or NBA Finals and your team's going to lose, would you sign up for that? We expected the Dodgers to be great this year. They spent more money than anybody. The Astros, we saw the nucleus there, but didn't know were they ready for that next step. Here's Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, after last night's loss.
I know that as we regroup and get ready for next year, to get to this point, you still have to play well in the regular season. And I know our guys, and I know that there won't be a hangover. They'll be more incentivized, and I think they'll be hungrier, and we went a little bit further than we did last year. It's a tough one. I believed in our guys. I know we had the talent, and we just didn't get it done. So we just got to, again, regroup and get to this point again next year.
There's going to be second guessing. There was second guessing with Joe Madden last year, who nearly lost the World Series. I thought he did a terrible job at times with his pitching staff, and he won the World Series. Dave Roberts is going to be second guessed, and there are opportunities where he should be second guessed. But I would not have started Clayton Kershaw. We know how he pitched last night. But if you said prior to Game 7, on 2 days rest, a guy who just got roughed up, and all of a sudden you're going to throw him out there. No. And I've got Yu Darvish, who's rested in All-Star. Now, did he melt down? Yes. He pitched poorly. But I can't look at the end result and all of a sudden, yep, they should have started Kershaw there. There's other instances where I could second guess what Roberts did. By the way, never underestimate the power of a Subway sandwich. We're proud to be involved in this coming up tomorrow in New York City. But actually, it's World Sandwich Day, and Subway is leading the charge here. Any sub, 30-ounce drink, they'll give you another sub-free plus donate a meal to Feeding America. It's part of Subway's live feed event as Subway restaurants around the world join the fight to end hunger. And you can do your job as well. It's a great, easy way to give back. Stop in, buy any sub, 30-ounce drink, get one sub free, and do some good. That'll be Friday at Subway. And participation may vary. For more information, it's subwaylivefeed.com. Yeah, Paul?
At this Subway thing we're doing in New York City tomorrow, we're hanging with a singer named Andy Grammer.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my kids and wife think I'm cool. I told them that we'd be hanging out with him. I know his songs, but I just don't know much about him. He's a big deal. Big deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you think he's saying to his people, hey, by the way, I'm hanging out with Dan and the Danettes?
Maybe part of that sentence.
Yeah.
I hope Fritzy gives me a hug.
Yeah, that would be nice.
My daughter was like, oh, Andy Grammer? She was, oh, my.
That's a little taste of him right here.
He's probably really good looking too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got
Probably.
cool hair and stuff.
No, I'm sure. Absolutely.
That doesn't work well with the ladies playing guitar and being able to sing.
Yeah. Almost helped
Feeding
two-a-days.
people.
Oh, yeah.
Charitable.
Savage.
Yeah. All right, a couple of phone calls in here. Jeff in Wyoming joins us. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the program. What do you have?
How you doing, Dan?
Hey, bud.
A long-time listener. I was in a band here touring around Wyoming. I'm playing in a bar, and during, this guy wanted to propose to he wanted to propose in front of our band during the break, or, like right there in front of public. And the break before, I was walking around, and this girl came up to me and said, hey, like you, and I said, well, whatever. And she goes, here, take my phone number.
No.
And while I'm performing, this guy walks up and starts to propose, and the gal that walks across the room is the gal who just gave me his phone.
So what'd you do?
Well, I played the bar every 5 weeks because we were a touring band all over Wyoming. We're West the band. Anyway, so sure enough, about 6 months later, the guy was divorced. I mean, it's not a good template for a long-term relationship.
Yes,
really.
Paulie. Yes, what?
I think Kevin was not a good bro here. He had to warn him at some point that night, Kevin. I think you should have stepped in.
Jeff. Yeah.
Jeff.
Do you warn him? I mean, do you warn him? Do you want to be that guy who goes, hey, man?
Yeah, you warn him now before he gets married.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess being a drummer, I guess sometimes my sensibilities aren't quite there,
Jeff, I'm not going to blame you. I'm not. It's not your fault.
Well, thank you. Thanks for taking my part there, Dan.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. It's not your fault. I'm Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting here.
I think Jeff...
It's not your fault.
Jeff has to step in for the bros.
No. Because if he doesn't know this guy, you can't all of a sudden go, dude, man.
But he knows the girl.
Can't do it.
Whoa.
It's none of your business.
None of your business.
It just became your business.
No.
It fell into your lap.
No.
Wait a second. A girl comes up and asks for your phone number, gives you your phone number because you're in the band, and then 8 minutes later, he's playing Slow Ride, and she's getting engaged to Timmy in the corner.
But she doesn't have to get engaged. Why did she get engaged?
But you're trying to help that guy out from making the biggest mistake of his life.
No, she made the mistake in a variety of ways that you accepted the engagement ring.
Maybe she was giving the number like, hey, I might get married soon, and I'm going to need
Play
a
the
band
band.
to play my wedding. Here, take my number so that then we could get in touch to play the wedding.
Yeah,
band.
That's what it was.
Maybe that's what she was thinking.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get engaged tonight, and I'm going to need a band.
Yeah. And we were going to get the Dan band, but instead we'd like to get you guys since you tour Wyoming. Yeah, you can't get involved. Can't. Nope. Not at all. By the way, we were watching that scene again in Old School.
Turn around.
So good.
It's so subtle but brilliant. Where Will Ferrell thinks that, wait, did he just say, was he singing what I just thought he was singing? And, the Dan band is so into it. Dropping swear words in there.
So good.
I think Will's going to join us next week. Is that right, Fritzy?
He is.
Oh, that's great. All right, a couple more phone calls here. John in New York. Hey, John, what do you have for me?
Hey, DP.
Hey, bud.
Listen, I want to put a challenge out for mock headlines to Fritzy. I got 3.
Oh,
all right.
Okay, wait a minute.
One.
Hold on, John.
You got
Let me take a break because I'm going to get Fritzy. Fritzy sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mock headlines. Let him pare that down. We'll come back. And we'll have fans versus Fritzy mock headlines there. So, John, we'll put you on hold, and then we'll come back. Also, we have our play of the day. I got a stat of the day as well. So just getting started here on the Dan Patrick Show.
Hey, listeners, just wanted to take a minute to thank all our great sponsors and all of you great listeners for supporting this podcast. We certainly couldn't do it without either of you. And I wanted to remind you that you can support our sponsors by going to our show page at podcast1.com. Clicking on the Support This Podcast button, and there you will see all our wonderful sponsors that help make this show possible. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, and of course, supporting. And now, back to the show.
Stay tuned for 60 seconds of AP News headlines right after this podcast.
Oh, my God.
The play.
The play's gonna play.
of the day.
Runner left side, got it! They're going to play it and play it.
This is the play of the day. Check this out.
It's everything and more, man. It's everything and more. It's one of the biggest steps of my life, one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. And right now I'm about to take another big step in my life. Daniela Rodriguez, you make me the happiest man in the world. Will you marry me? Will you marry me?
Oh my God!
Yes?
Show off.
Could you imagine if some dude in the second row was like, yo, man, she just gave me your number, by the way. Hey, dude, don't do it. She just gave me your number.
Would have been the assist of a lifetime.
Play of the day brought to you by True Car. Find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for, and on average save over $3,000 off MSRP. Whether you're looking for a new or used car, visit True Car to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Did we find out if the guy from Boise State's still married?
Still married. Ian Johnson, running back. Still
nice.
married.
And they have a child.
Nice. Did they name the kid Chris after Chris Myers? Because Myers did the interview on the field.
Fiesta Johnson.
Oh, Fiesta.
I'm just making
the
that
Fiesta
up.
Bowl.
Making that up.
I remember going to that game, and when Boise State came onto the field, and Oklahoma was already on the field, and I went, this looks like the varsity and the junior varsity. I'm thinking Boise State, if they can just stay close, that'll be like a moral victory. Next thing you know, Chris Peterson coached the hell out of that game. Got a stat of the day, and then we have Fans v. Fritzy mock headlines for the World Series.
Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Here comes the start of the day!
Lance McCullers Jr., the first pitcher all-time to hit 4 batters in a World Series game. He and fellow Astros pitcher Charlie Morton led baseball this year in hit by pitches, both with 15. There's your stat of the day, post-World Series.
Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Here comes the start of the day!
Continental Tire brings us the stat of the day. Continental Tire's new Terrain Contact AT is the ideal all-terrain tire. It'll get you where you need to go. Rain, snow, sleet, well, whatever. They strike the perfect balance between off-road traction, on-road manners. Check out ContinentalTire.com for more information on these great tires. All right, Fritzy, you've got 3 mock headlines. John in New York rejoins us. John issued the challenge, and he'll go first. It's Fans versus Fritzy mock headlines. All right, John. Wait, do we have theme music here, Seton?
I'm really upset with Fritzy. I'm so upset.
Fans versus Fritz!
All right, Johnny, go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Huge mistake starting Darvish. La La Land, again, misses out on Best Pitcher. Houston.
Whoa,
Houston,
wait,
yeah,
John, wait,
okay.
Jane,
Yeah.
Johnny, go back and give me that one again, La La Land.
La La Land, again, misses out on Best Pitcher.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so good.
That's really good. Now,
Okay, and the final one
wait a
is
minute. Hold on, John. Now, I'm going to say this to the Danettes. Is that a walk-off there, or does he devalue this next headline here at Seton?
I think John keeps one in the tank. We throw it over to Fritzy, and then we go back to John
Okay.
one more time.
Okay, all right. Shots have been fired here, Fritzy.
That was strong.
Okay,
I like that one a lot,
Give me
actually.
2 of them.
Houston, we have a title.
I like it.
And
No, I like it.
Why?
It's straightforward. It's simple.
Oh, come on.
I think the Danettes are going to veto your like on
Wait,
that one.
all of a sudden I support Fritzy, and then you guys who always rip me because I don't support him.
You support him every time the Astros win the World Series.
I do. I'm fine with. I think it's a nice headline time.
Thanks.
Not as good as La La Land.
I don't think so either.
All right, continue.
All right, I better step it
Let's
up.
go.
My other one is Boo Darvish. Boo Darvish.
La La Land.
Okay. All right. Johnny, if you want to deliver the final blow here.
I do, but Fritzy kind of blew me up. Mine is Houston. We have no problem.
Okay, that is better than Fritzy's. Fritzy, you got one last chance. You're down to your final strike.
Ooh, this is going to be tough. That second one, he brought the cheese.
Yeah, he brought some noise.
I had Astros give Dodgers the Springer.
Instead of the finger?
Instead of the finger.
Yeah.
La La Land.
Johnny, congratulations. You dominated Fritzy.
Thank you very much, Dan.
All right.
Nice job, man.
Yeah. I have nothing to give him, but he dominated Fritzy. Yes,
Best
Paul.
pitcher. That's great.
Fritzy got to enjoy that for 55 minutes. His day.
We can give him a T-shirt or something.
Who, Johnny?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How about Captain Obvious T-shirt for John?
He hung up. This close. He almost got a T-shirt.
John, if you call back, we'll give you. We'll get the details there, and Mario will send out a Captain Obvious T-shirt. It's got Fritzy's face on it. Or better yet, how about Fritzy's face from your bar mitzvah? That'd be kind of. I'll let him choose. I'll let him choose.
T-shirt.
Yeah,
that was excellent.
Did you get your T-shirt? Did you have to wear? You lost a Wheel of Punishment, Seton?
Has that been decided?
Yes. Yeah, it's the one where you have no clothes on in front of the fireplace.
Oh, no.
Yeah, with the champagne bottle strategically placed as you sent... And
some grapes there?
Yeah. Yeah, the one you sent out to your wife.
Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Got plans tonight? And me and my chubby belly and...
Yeah, my plans are leaving the state.
Yeah,
I think you need to wear that
Mr.
T-shirt.
Romance.
Yeah, I think you need to wear that. Paul in Atlanta joins us. Hi, Paul. What do you have?
And thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So 61180, and this is a significant amount of time premier appearance.
Okay.
So here we go. World champs. You bet your Astros.
Okay. All right. I like that one. All right, thank you, Paul. Fritzy, didn't you have one that was similar to that?
I had a Houston Bats prove pain in the Astro.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, but you didn't use that.
I did not.
In the showdown there. Let me see. Johnny in South Carolina. Hi, Johnny. Hey,
How you living, Holmes?
Hey, bud.
Hey, just going to put the Verlander argument to bed here. You've kind of asked all your guests, baseball guests, the last 8-10 days if they think he belongs in the Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And in running down his career accomplishments, all of you have failed to mention the multiple no-hitters, which I think puts him over the top. And also have a mock headline from the L.A. Times. It goes something like, you got to be blanking me. So I thought I'd throw that out.
Well, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. I don't know if no-hitters matter when it comes to the Hall of Fame, but Johnny thinks so. Yeah, Paulie.
Because I don't think Schilling has a no-hitter. Maybe he does, but Clemens never got one.
No.
I don't know how much credit you give no-hitters when you're weighing the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because those are like two great days, unbelievable days.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Verlander's got 2 no-hitters. I mean, it's a nice accomplishment.
Then why do the other 200 or 300 good days matter, but those other ones don't?
Well, they do.
Every day you win, it's a good day, but then you also happen to have 2 or 3 great days.
But when's the last time you're assessing a pitcher and his Hall of Fame worthiness, and you went, how many no-hitters has he got?
Maybe Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, but Nolan Ryan had more than anybody.
Right.
That was different because that's what he was known for, and that's an extreme situation.
He had more days that shouldn't count than anybody.
But did you say that about John Smoltz? Dennis Eckersley? I mean, I don't think we've gone down the list where you go, yeah, I don't know. How many no-hitters has he thrown? All right, more phone calls coming up. The man who predicted all of this 3.5 years ago is going to join us. He said the Astros would win the World Series in 2017. He'll join us. All right, more of your phone calls as well. Can you update the poll results there, McLovin, from the first hour?
I can. Who do you want to see end their title drought? The Cleveland Indians are leading significantly.
All right. 1 hour in the books, 2 more to go.
Hey everybody, it's Shaq. Have you had a chance to check out the #1 podcast on Podcast One? That's right, The Big Podcast with Shaq. Me and my co-hosts John Kincaid and Rob Jenners, we have a blast. With way more than just sports, we have the biggest guests from entertainment to the NBA. I promise you've never ever heard a show like this. The Big Podcast with Shaq, with the new episode every Monday at podcastone.com.
The business you run may be small, but your responsibility, that's always big. Real big. Like answering all of your employees' health insurance questions? That's on you, boss. But not to worry. Anthem Blue Cross has real people your employees can talk to who can help. Oh, and you're also responsible for company outings. Might I suggest laser tag?
For all the things that keep you up at night, Anthem has a solution. Real people empowered to get you on the right track. Anthem Blue Cross. Rest easy. Click the banner to learn more.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
Ooh, all right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.